Mark Bell from Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, with more footage for supertraining.tv. That's Greg Buffington, who competes at 198 and 220. Greg recently did a 771 squat at 198 in a contest. This is Ryan Spencer, the Mad Deadlifter. These guys are squatting with chains and the straight bar. It's an Iron Wolf squat bar, which has just the most amazing amount of knurling on it. It'll leave you bloody and rip up your shirts. It's pretty nice. David Baffis. David does a good job throwing the knees out there, trying to keep the upright posture. Skipped forward a little bit on the knees there, but pretty good form. It's a dynamic effort workout, so the guys are going back and forth, one guy after another. Rest periods are pretty short. The chains are about 20 pounds a piece. They have about 5 chains per side, so nearly 100 pounds per side, or 200 pounds total. You can see as he's squatting onto the box, the chains are completely deloading, and then maybe about 80% of it is reloading onto the barbell. There's David going again. Form's a little bit off. David did a pretty big squat, a reverse band squat on Tuesday, and this workout was shot on a Saturday. So with little time to rest, jumping back into these workouts sometimes pretty demanding. That's where your GPP will come in, and just being a hard-headed motherfucker will help you. Sometimes you just have to battle through it, or you might have to use better judgment and use less weights for the day so you can accomplish what's necessary for the day. And this day is based on speed and form. So if you're having trouble with either one, you may have to reduce the weight a little bit. He's kind of shaking his head, but that's good that he's shaking his head, because that means that he's learning. He knows that it's not good. He knows that it's not feeling the right way for him. And sometimes as you warm up and as you continue to do your sets, you'll just get better and better. We got Spence going with about 4 plates there, handling that real easy for an easy double. Ryan competes at 165 and 181. Now David's speed's picking up a little bit. Another thing you might want to try to do is, if the day doesn't look like it's going to be so great for you, is to raise the box height up just a little bit. Sometimes there could be some flexibility issues. You could be tight from previous workouts. Raise the box height up 1 inch, and you'll be surprised how much easier and faster you're moving for the day. Another way to switch it up would just be to switch up your stance. Maybe try a wider stance or closer stance. Try a stance you're unfamiliar with, and the expectations would be different since it's something that you haven't really done a whole lot of. There's G-Buff going again. Greg does a good job sitting back. This is a really good angle of it. You want to sit back, but you want to try not to relax the lower back too much. You want to try to keep the upright posture as best you can. If you lose that upright posture, if you lose that tightness in your back, it's going to be very difficult to come back up off the box. There's Ryan Spencer doing a good job staying tight as well. A lot of these smaller guys, there's a lot you can learn from them. They have to stay tight, or else they're not going to be able to squat much of anything. A bigger guy can get away with having their form a little slack, or not staying as tight, just because they have body fat to kind of use as leverage, or just overall body mass and size. Greg does a good job keeping his head really neutral. His head's not up, his head's not down, it's just dead center right in the middle. Spence tries to keep his head up a little bit more. Some people like to keep their head up because they feel it kind of keeps their chest up. Mess around with different head positions and try to figure out what works best for you. Usually a neutral position is usually the best, but everyone's a little different. Some female lifters will have to have their head up pretty high just in order to create a shelf for the barbell to rest on. Weights are getting a little heavier. They're working up a little bit now. Gets in a good single there. It's a little over 600 pounds at the top. Spencer is somebody who is really used to a real close stance, and you can see now he's, over a period of time, has worked his stance out a little bit. I mean, he kind of used to have the old school USAPL style stance, clicking the heels together and squatting. We just took him back out a little bit, try to build up the hips. It's a great way to build up your hips, is just to get yourself out as wide as you possibly can. It's something that you want to work into. You know, just getting out real wide and right away might not be the best idea, but just going out like an inch wider per side, about 2 inches total. Try that out for about 2 or 3 weeks and see how that feels. It'll be pretty brutal on the hips, but it's a good way to train the hips. Another good lift there by Spence. Not really sure what's going on here. It says confidence built here. I'm not really sure what that story is all about. That's it for supertraining.tv.